Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Frey Life weekend update.
From the time we turned our camera off on Saturday night, we had some creativity, inspiration that night. I started rearranging the kitchen drawer again.
Mary had a kind of a brilliant idea. Where did you see this?
I saw some different ideas on YouTube and then I Pinterested it. And here's what our take on it. We bought 3 of these poplar thin boards.
Yeah, I think they're 1/4 inch.
And they cost about $3 each. So the whole project was $12. And
plus a little wood glue. Which we already had on hand.
Like a teaspoon of wood glue. So yeah, I'm just really happy with how it turned out. We were unsure if it was gonna work during the process, but I laid out all the utensils that I knew were gonna be in this drawer. And then we measured out how big he needed to cut the wood. I was really impressed with how quickly he was getting this done. I didn't know if this was gonna be like an all-night event, but it was really quick.
It was pretty simple because all I had to do was I did 1 piece at a time, measured how big it needed to be, ran out, used my miter saw and just right at the mark of how big it was supposed to be. And it was kind of like a puzzle putting it together because you have your different sections and you want to get all the boards straight, and it was fun.
I do think that in some of the photos on Pinterest, the people did a complete wood perimeter right inside the drawer. And if we would have done that, we could have glued the boards straight to we didn't want to glue them straight to our drawer, so if there was that perimeter, we could have glued it to that. And that would make it more
durable, sturdy.
We'll see how it works in the long run. If we need to add a perimeter in the future, I guess we'll do that.
Basically, some of the boards on that meet the edges of the drawer are only secured in one, or glued in one spot. So they could, if you kind of pried them, they'd break off. But I think it seems pretty sturdy at this point. Like the glue gave it a good connection, and
we ended up putting some cardstock underneath while we were gluing so that we could just pull those out, and it actually worked really well so that they didn't get glued to the drawer liner. But yeah, I'm so happy with it. It just sometimes I walk over and open the drawer just to look inside and see it. And so yeah, that was one project that happened after the camera went off on Saturday night. And then Sunday evening, we had some excitement.
We went out on the boat, and I shouldn't say that too loud because Ollie is listening, but it was a beautiful day. It was, I don't know, 80s. Probably once we got out there, it probably dropped down to 70s on our way home, and it was just a beautiful evening watching the sunset.
The air was, okay, well, I'll just say this. For the whole summer, anytime we went out, it was stiflingly hot, so hot. If we went out in the evening at 5 p.m., it was too hot. The sun was crazy, and we were on the water for 1 hour, so the hour before sunset, and it was so perfect. Even when we were going on the boat, it was cool enough to have a sweatshirt on. Ollie had the time of his life. He hasn't been out in quite some time, so he was really excited, and that makes us very happy people.
And it was super fun. We pulled up on the beach and let him swim for a little while, and we played some music, and
we saw the
oh yeah, like a paraglider, I don't know what it's called, where it's a parachute and it has an engine, and he's flying along.
He was higher than I thought he was gonna be. We saw him in the distance and we thought, oh yeah, he's gonna go right over us, but he was still super high. So I was waving, but I don't think he saw us because he was up really high. But it was so cool. Oh, there was one other thing that happened. See, when we were, well, fact, this lake, Lake Jordan, is the highest population of bald eagles,
Or
apparently.
something like that,
Something
yeah.
to that effect. And we've seen bald eagles, it takes our breath away. We see them like super far away, like it's a dot in the sky, and we're like, oh my goodness. Okay, so we're on our way to the lake, and on the side of the road, we see this large dead animal. And
Bird.
it was a bird, and I was like, oh my goodness, what could that possibly be? It's so big.
And it was brown and there was white.
Yes, and I saw white on the tail, and then as we were driving by, I could barely see white on the head. And I was like, Peter, I think that was a bald eagle. We were still like 20 minutes away from the lake, so the likelihood of it being a bald eagle is pretty low. But I just needed to know what it was.
And I was like driving the boat. I couldn't stop at that moment. I was like, we can stop on the way home and see what that was.
So I still had it in my mind that this might be a bald eagle. So we stopped, he pulled the boat into the, what's it called, gas station across the street. And I ran across the kind of scary highway. It was a Canadian goose, which it was sad. I mean, I kind of felt like I wanted to take it and bury it or something, but we left it where it was, obviously. But it was a Canadian goose.
It wasn't a bald eagle.
It was not a bald eagle.
But that was exciting.
I'm still glad that I went and saw what it was, though, because I think my curiosity would still be saying, I think it was a bald eagle. There was white on the head. There was white on the tail. From what we saw,
there you go.
It could have been.
Guys, the other exciting weekend update is that our grass is growing. And I don't know how much you can see there. There's some straw in the middle of the yard, but it's exciting. We're watering it and watching it grow.
And by we, he means.
But we are soaking up our lovely deck. Mary put some flowers and things out here on the table yesterday, and we've got our plant wall. It feels like a little oasis out here, especially as the grass comes in.
The rest of the weekend was full of snugs.
And making aprons.
Oh yeah, that too.
We're working on a lot of apron orders. We're gonna have a busy week getting those out.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm glad you liked those. I think you liked them more than we anticipated, but that's a good thing.
Yes, we're so grateful, and we gotta go get to work. So,
as always,
we'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Good night. Good night, Ollie boy. Hey, you guys were talking about the boat all this time. It's not fair.
Did you have fun last night?